I don't know how it's possible that that you're going to be able to match that power pick of Varus right now.
Yeah.
I would like to see Immortals come up with a much better draft. I didn't think the last one was great. I think that Dardoch was in a much worse position than Inori was last game, and Dardoch outperformed. Like, he didn't win the game, but for what he had to work with, I think he did really well.
Yeah. I definitely think that if they do draft like that, Flame really needs to take over because that's their big mismatch.
And look at this. They're targeting Dardoch pretty heavily in pick bans. This is actually a whole bunch of extra jungle bans. We usually, maybe we'll see a Kha'Zix or something like one, but here they're obviously making a play for the Kha'Zix picks. It looks like they're very willing to first pick it. You know, Graves is right up there on the tier list, especially with lethality buffs. He's actually a monster right now.
So Immortals
Kha'Zix
not
is up.
ban Kha'Zix this game, so it's probably going to be, what, Kha'Zix versus Rek'Sai?
I think it's going to be Kha'Zix versus Rek'Sai, which is probably what Phoenix 1 wants.
Yeah.
I think that Dardoch can't really hard carry a game on Rek'Sai the same way that he would be able to hard carry on something like Lee Sin or Graves in Phoenix 1's opinion. So in this situation, I think that they're kind of taking away the strength from what it looks like is Immortal's best player.
Yeah, definitely true for the last game. We'll see about this one. I would definitely want to at least take the Rek'Sai in the first round. You don't have to take it right now, but got to get it before the next couple bans come through because you get pinched even more, then you're definitely in trouble. So I would expect that to be their third pickup. But right here, they're already showing both solo laners, which is pretty bold. You usually get those matched as well.
Do you think there's any chance that Dardoch says, screw the Rek'Sai, I'm going for something even crazier?
I feel like there's a chance. Okay, let's think about,
Warwick,
like, what
something
would
like
it
that.
be, right?
Warwick
We're all
versus
hoping for
Elise.
Warwick.
We all want Warwick.
Dude. I love that champion.
I think he's strong.
Yeah, I think he's.
I think that
he's a
once
solid
people
champion.
figure it out, give it a couple weeks, I think
Yeah.
we'll be seeing Warwick quite often. He just seems like his kid has everything.
Such a tanky champion.
It's very tanky. He doesn't have.
Okay, not everything.
No,
but he has
I
a
was
lot.
gonna go with damage. Yeah, the damage, like it's decent, right? And it does stack up over time. But there's no way you compare to burst damage with someone like Kha'Zix or anything.
I mean, I hope Dardoch picks it, but I don't think that Dardoch's the type
Yeah.
of player that would play Warwick. I don't think he likes being kited. He likes the in-your-face, I'm going to flash on you and one-shot you type of thing. So I would pretty much, I would rather see him personally play Elise, but I think with this team comp, you're just going to see the Rek'Sai. They need a tank jungler. They have Syndra, Jace.
They definitely would have an easier time with the front line.
Here's the thing, Corki Varus has been so common for a lot of poke
But
comps.
Elise hover.
When you're facing a poke comp like that, super obvious Phoenix 1 are going with this from the back line. You need some super hard engage, right? I don't know if Olaf is that. When I run into a poke comp as Olaf, I'm super scared of just getting focus fired, and you're instantly dead just trying to walk towards them.
It feels terrible.
Yeah.
I actually had a game kind of like that playing Olaf, like at Worlds against SKT, and you just get hit by 1 CC, you blow your ult, you get poked to half, and then what
You're
do you
dead.
do?
You're dead so
So
fast.
this is going to be, it looks like already off the bat, another game where Dardoch's just going to have to blow this game open right away.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the whole mentality behind the Olaf pick is Rek'Sai can only do so much. Olaf, you have the higher potential to pop off, for sure. So
I actually,
The pop chart. We need
Yeah.
we need our league pop chart.
what
we need to pop
what
it.
I think would have been a very, very good pick this game is Zac for Dardoch. I don't know if he plays it. I don't know if he's good and competitive, but just looking at it, you can fit an AP jungler. You need a tank. You need hard engage.
No, I definitely think Zac is a decent tier 2 as well. I feel like after you're done with Rengar, Kha'Zix, we talked about this a little bit before, you have a whole bunch of champions that you can viably play without getting completely flamed. So
Well, you are up against Kha'Zix, so maybe he would just have his way with Zac. I don't know, but he did go with the Olaf, which I was talking about last game. I like Olaf a lot, especially against Varus.
Also, the thing about Olaf is, I'm actually pretty confident, super early, even against Kha'Zix, who's really scary if you're isolated. Like Olaf can definitely fight toe to toe.
I definitely think
It's
you
not
win.
close. Olaf beats everyone.
Like,
Yeah.
so
I think it's good 1 to 5. I think after 6, it starts getting a little bit scary.
once he
At
upgrades the
6?
Q, then it's
Yeah,
It's mostly the ult too, just going invisible, because Olaf has so much attack speed, but when the only time you're showing is to hit him for a 500 Q, then Olaf can't do a whole lot. But
definitely. And if Olaf has one of those axes dodged, no way Kha'Zix loses that 1v1.
Look at this, though. We get some AP bottom lane here with Ziggs. Definitely you don't want to commit to anything. Things could still get moved around, but this would be what you expect. I mean, you guys have seen this in solo queue as well, right? Does this change you at all? You know your bottom turret is probably going to go down early.
yeah, the Ziggs
we'll
is it's an interesting pick. Phoenix 1 setting up for sort of like a poke siege comp, so getting some wave clear to delay their siege, I guess, is pretty good.
Yeah. The Zyra, I actually love Zyra in the versions of the Varus Corki setup, because even if Zyra does go down, right, the snares and her giant ultimate provide so much for the team fight. But like you pointed out as well, the Maokai, having that front line is insane for those two.
I think this is going to be a really hard game if Phoenix 1 get ahead. If Phoenix 1 get ahead, it's just going to be simply Maokai flashing in, stunning someone, and just having Kha'Zix just run a train on everyone else. So, yeah. I also think
I
Ryu,
would like this Bard pick here.
Yeah, it's questionable. Ryu's looks really good on Corki, though. That's a pretty scary champion to give him right now.
Especially after last game. Ryu just looked untouchable last game.
Yeah,
that was a hard carry.
I feel like we're gonna need to see some super good Bard ultimates.
Right, that's the reason for the pick, of course. Because Varus, he's not mobile. You know, if you just throw a Bard ult at him, he's probably gonna get hit by it unless he has
or blow a flash, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll definitely make Varus have to respect that quite a bit, and that's what you need against a comp like that. Phoenix 1 wants to, you know, siege up, poke you down, and Immortals is just gonna try to counter that, which I think they've got a pretty good lineup for it. They've strong champions for most of the game. So I like the draft a lot better than last game, at least.
And I think, once again, I'm looking at Flame and Dardoch kind of as a duo. Jace and Olaf have, like, super strong, you know, potential early on to try and bully out. I'm pretty curious to see what the level 1 is going to look like again if they actually try and do some invade to get some extra, you know, deep wards or something.
I also think it's interesting that no team has picked the Malzahar yet. That was something that was extremely high priority recently. In NA, it's been something that's been picked in the first rotation even, multiple times. And it seems like no one wants to play it here. I'm surprised that Malzahar is falling all the way through the ban phase, all the way to the 5th pick, and no one is picking it up.
Malzahar not there. Ivern hasn't shown his face here in North America.
But that was never shown its face.
Yeah, well, the thing, I really thought it was going to come through when people started doing so much more of this poke. The brush spam with Ivern and having Daisy as your tank rather than actually having to have a person be up there just feels really good.
Those 30-second backdoors on the turret.
Exactly.
Love Ivern. Cool guy.
All right. Reminder for everybody, though, this is going to be from Inori's perspective this time around. So we'll have Fog of War for the majority. We will check in on the lane matchups, as junglers always do. Plus, we'll try and predict where Dardoch is at different points and then do a quick reveal to see where he actually is.
One of the things that I think is going to be interesting to see is how does P1 stop from getting invaded? Because much like last game, Olaf Jace is just insane level 1. You cannot fight that with a Maokai Kha'Zix. So last game, we didn't exactly see where P1 warded to watch the invade, but they did see that the invade was coming. Yeah. So a defensive ward just to watch the invade, I like that because it's pretty telegraphed that you're going to want to invade with that duo. So just being able to basically do what they did last game will be pretty valuable.
Pretty interesting stats there, too. Inori opting to not try and babysit the Shen. Shen's strategy versus the Chases. Just don't get so low that they dive you and then be able to ult later. Might be a similar situation here for Zig against the Jace once again.
Dardoch's actually using a ton of mana level 1 here, throwing axes. Is something you got to be careful for in Olaf, just because without that blue, he just runs immediately. So getting to almost half mana before anything spawns makes it... Okay, that's a little more than half mana. But it does usually give away that you're going to start blue if you're being really liberal with the axes.
Yeah. There's been some weird Olaf starts in the LCS. Like Smithy did one where he...
Red start, yeah.
He did the Wraiths first before he did red, and he got down to like 1 HP so he could jungle faster. So he like took intentionally a lot of damage and used all of his mana on the Wraiths so that he could just jungle at like 1 HP, which is obviously really efficient.
Yeah. It also gives you like bonus experience because as you're starting there, you get the extra experience for being super low level. In the Wraith camp, there's so many of those Raptors that it counts for every single one of them.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It gives you a little boost. I'm surprised Dardoch didn't go for the whole thing here.
I think Olaf's one of the only champs who can actually make use of that route, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but just starting a race with no leash is
Shyvana
so hard.
Before the nerf to her burnout. I don't think she can do it anymore. But you also be able to do it with her. But yeah,
I think most of the time you're just better off getting a leash anyway.
Dardoch actually came out up a Gromp here in the jungle trade. I think it's decently significant.
Yeah. All right, here's that super heavy focus on the scuttles that we're looking for. Inori goes down there. Kha'Zix, he definitely doesn't need level 3. You're not
He's actually going back in.
Get any.
I think he has to. If he doesn't go back in here, he'll get very behind, assuming that Dardoch
This is such a clencher. Oh, he should ghost immediately.
Oh,
Should be able to get
Inori's
them here.
gonna have to flash
He's
out.
gonna have to flash the.
He doesn't have his wings, remember? No jump, so he's gonna.
Yeah, this is just, that's what Olaf does. You know, early game you can't fight him. If he catches you with your pants down, you're gone.
No pants on, no wings out.
He had his pants, but he had to, you know, flash over the wall.
All tangled up over his.
No more pants for Kha'Zix. Once he gets that level 3
He did protect the
safer.
bottom lane a bit with that vision, but let's go over the camps, right? Because I love talking about the early routes and even just getting like one camp up, right? So count the camps, and now where are you predicting Dardoch to go?
I think he's gonna clear his blue side and then go back to where it's top against red.
Right. As Olaf he clears so fast in the beginning, and he's one of those champions who can just take off, get so many levels advantage. We didn't really see if Olaf countered the wolves. If Dardoch
He didn't counter the wolves. He just took blue, grump, and then ran back to raid.
Okay, so Inori's not too behind, but if Olaf did opt to leave one wolf, then Inori would have been probably about a whole level down the entire game, which is just absolutely brutal.
I mean, it's still going to be pretty brutal. His grump should spawn around 4:30, so he could even wait for it if he wanted to.
Also, if I'm Inori right now, I'm so scared to even go for this scuttle crab because I don't have flash. If Olaf is predicting that and he's waiting in that little pixel bush thing there, like you get hit with an axe, you're actually dead now.
At least you have the
Yeah,
grump.
it was smart how he
jump.
decided to check it.
Hey!
Inori actually did get the crab, which was well played.
Yeah.
I think Dardoch might look for a Gromp invade because a little interesting note that a lot of junglers take into account is the camp you do after your first buff will almost always respawn between 4:30 and 4:40.
Yep.
You know, depending on how fast you clear it. So both junglers can guess this Gromp's gonna come out. Inori getting it's actually really big for Inori because one thing that I rate very highly is how many camps you can get on your second jungle clear. Because, you know, after the 7.1 nerf, it's way less XP on the first clear, but on the respawn camps, it'll get you the XP, and that really determines how fast you get 6.
Yeah, and here they're actually about even in gold. The problem is when Inori backs here, he's not going to have camps up for a while. So we'll see what he does with that.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I see, a lot of
Just
people.
pick up a Hex Shrinker first item? I think he did. Oh, no, never mind.
Someone did.
That was quirky. I only saw a glimpse of it.
I was like,
It looked
whoa, how did he
nice.
get so rich?
No, I mean, it's pretty much the same cost as the Warhammer. I mean, I think he had enough gold.
Oh, I think
maybe?
Kha'Zix's bot camps will be respawning pretty soon. I imagine he'll just come below mid, throw up his control ward, and then go for his crabs once they're up. Oh, crab.
Yeah, he really has nothing to do
crab's
right
back
now.
up.
So much of this too is about the camp management rather than a lot of solo queue people just immediately, as soon as they're level 3, are thinking about where to gank. But like you said, Meteos, with the second respawns being even more valuable, like going for that gank, the cost, especially if you don't convert, is tremendous.
It can be night and day because say you go for the full clear, right? You get the level 4 and then you recall, and another jungler got level 3 ganked, and if that gank fails, they're level 3, the other jungler is a full level on you with items, and then they'll just invade your 4:30 camp respawn, and if you get in that situation, it's all like almost checkmate.
Hey!
Oh,
Blast
wow.
He
cone,
didn't
took
get
the
it.
grump. No
Huge
flash,
by
member.
Inori.
Probably dead.
Yeah.
No chance he can get out of here.
So let's go back
That's
a step.
tragic.
Because we were deep on the conversation there previously, but like let's go back a step to see how dangerous that was for Inori, right? Predicting where Olaf is, you would assume he cleared cleared up to the
saw him
top
top
side,
side. He saw him top side. Ryu went to place that ward that's sitting in the near the wraiths, and he thought that meant that he could take the Gromp, but Dardoch literally ran from that ward straight down to his Gromp and murdered him.
Yeah, and it looks like Inori really, I mean, like I was saying last game, smiting's not everything, but when you miss a smite by, what was that, 100 HP on the Gromp, trying to combo with Q, that's just not good.
This feels so bad.
For how much he plays Kha'Zix, you should know how much a Q smite's going to do at level 4.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to not actually reading your smite. I feel like I smite a lot better when I actually look at the number before I do it. Sometimes I try to do it on feel, but I always feel like looking at the number originally and then transferring over to feel later is the best way to like accurately know.
Definitely, and you can see how much your Q is doing with all your other ones on the Gromp, so you can just quick mental map.
I don't know what
that one.
Inori is doing. He should know that this red isn't up because when he fought Dardoch on the bottom side near the crab, he saw that Dardoch didn't have red buff. So what he should be doing right here is clearing the camps on his side of the jungle. He literally just took a path and wasted a bunch of time that he didn't have to because he didn't remember that when he saw Dardoch at the crab, Dardoch did not have a red.
Well, I agree with you partially, but I don't think what he did was that bad because he figures Olaf's just taking his entire bot jungle now. Like, this is one of the worst positions you would be as Inori right here. He made a lot of mistakes early, and he's just getting punished for them insanely hard.
One of those big punishes did come from that move where Dardoch showed himself on this ward and then makes a beeline for his only camp that's up. Like, that's one of my favorite plays is where you walk over vision on purpose. And then maybe you exit that vision in a way that makes them think you're going somewhere else. But there's only one other spot of one camp that you know you have up, and so you know what their highest chance move is. So
it's actually interesting here that Inori's whole bottom jungle is up. I guess that comes from his lanes because in most situations, Olaf would have been able to take that entire jungle, 2 levels up on Kha'Zix, pushed him out, but I guess he had to respect, maybe he didn't have the lane pressure mid or bot to go for that invade, so yeah, pretty lucky for Inori there, definitely getting bailed out by his team from an otherwise, devastating position.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's like, the problem that I have with him going into top jungle is there's literally nothing he can do. There's obviously no camps, and then he knows the red's not up, or he should know the red's not up, so, I mean, if you're wasting time, if you just need to kill time, killing time in the enemy jungle when you're level 4 and the mid laner's level 8 is like one of the most dangerous places to be.
So. That's definitely true. I'm wondering if he just thought maybe like because of how fast Olaf got to that Gromp, maybe he skipped his race or Krugs or something and he's just trying to get something back. But yeah, definitely didn't gain anything from that, just sort of wasted time.
I feel like that's so scary though. I mean, I know in an LCS game, if I'm level 4, the mid laner's level 8, and I don't know where the enemy jungler is, if I'm countering the race, I am crapping.
A level 8 Syndra as well.
Yeah, you will get
Syndra
one shot.
is not a champion any jungler likes. Most junglers don't run MR to help clear, and a Syndra who's twice your level is gonna just one-shot you.
People always make the joke, oh yeah, she doesn't have to hit any skill shots. No, okay, level 8 to level 4, you don't have to even use your ultimate. Like, you can kill you with basic abilities.
Yeah.
There has been a bug going around after the last Syndra nerfs where her ult will sometimes not kill people. Sometimes he's relying on that.
And now it's almost like you have to hit one of the other abilities.
It's unfair. It's unplayable.
Yeah. Surprised he even picked it.
Well, Inori is clawing his way back into this game. He will have his warrior, and he's even in level, so...
He looked straight at Dom before he said that, by the way. Look him right in the eyes. Here comes Dardoch,
see the pain.
Adrian going down.
Dardoch is clapping. Oh my god.
Look at that gank mid from Inori. Oh my goodness.
Dardoch's effectively clapping Inori this series. I did not expect it to play out like this.
Yeah, Dardoch's playing amazingly this series, but I mean, Ryu is just running laps around Pobel. He just solo killed Syndra.
Solo killed a Syndra, and the Syndra was donated a free kill. Like, the kill from Kha'Zix actually went to the Syndra. Yeah. So they gave Syndra a free kill, and then she still lost lane 1v1. That is
Pobel's definitely struggling in this matchup, which, as a jungler, your mid laner being behind is the worst feeling.
Yeah. All right, let's do an exercise now because we just saw Dardoch. Oh no, replay. I was gonna say we're gonna track Dardoch for a while, but here goes his gank bottom lane. The Bard assisted gank always feels pretty good when you're Olaf and you don't have any other special routes. But those were the gank mid was showing up in time to not get an assist either for Inori. So he's definitely behind.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised by the way P1 bot lane is playing so aggressively in these matchups because, I haven't been playing competitively this season, so I might not understand the meta entirely, but when you have something like Varus Nami against, Thresh Bard, that's just kill pressure for days, and you really have to respect that, because if you push up next to a wall while Bard has ult, you're just going to die every time.
Definitely died that time. All right, I was going to say, we just saw Dardoch on the bottom of this mid lane here, and let's try and track him, but now we have...
Look at that item pickup from Inori. He's buying armor. That's such a random item to buy, especially in this matchup, because they don't even have an AD carry.
That's a decent point. I feel like there's so many Kha'Zix players are going just regardless of team comp almost. The Ninja Tabai,
yeah,
exactly, with the Hex Drinker and like you cover all your bases and you're like kind of
yeah. It just feels weird to buy it there. I feel like a longsword there would potentially be better.
He may have not had enough money for it.
Yeah, true.
I don't totally hate it because you know, even though they don't have an 80 carry, it's still split damage 2 and 2. Jace Olaf are physical, and it looks like he wants to make plays in the top side of the map, so he will get some pretty good value out of it.
That's still actually kind of weird to me that he wants to make plays on top side.
Yeah, Inori feels like a little bit lost this game. I see him
He's definitely behind.
Yeah, it seems to me like he's kind of doubting himself a little bit based off like how his early invades went. Every time he invade, even the first invade, he got forced out, burned his flash. Second invade, gets killed. I feel like at this point he's trying to just not throw the game for his team and just hop on Ryu's back.
Well, at what point do you flip that switch? Because I've definitely been in games where I can feel it slipping away, and you know the enemy Graves or something is like 2 levels up on me, and I'm like, Jesus, how do I stop the bleeding here?
It's a lot easier in solo queue, I'm telling you, because if you end up just going for everything and chain feeding in solo queue, it's excusable. You might get flamed by your teammates, but you know it's kind of within that own.
His bottom lane is saving him. You know his mid lane is making plays without him.
Yeah, and his top lane's holding.
All right, his mid lane is getting 3-mans,
and he's like okay with it almost.
He got one back for him.
He found one.
Did he give him an assist for that?
They could look for more. Maokai's here, but
he needs to be
Jace has TP, so I don't think they should go for this.
Yeah, Zig did use his teleport. That's a pretty big cooldown for Maokai to actually just open the door.
Yeah, I feel like he was probably going to TP. I don't think he would have TP top, but I think him TPing to the top side of the map isn't completely detrimental. He's not going to lose his turret or anything. Wow.
It's like P1 will get bot turret.
They're essentially just playing without a jungle this game. This is so impressive. This is the best feeling as a jungler, by the way, when you're just like...
You feed first blood invading.
You feed first blood invading. You're pretty much inting, and then you just have your lane just popping off. I feel like that's...
I actually... This feeling as a jungler makes me really anxious, where I'm extremely behind, but my lanes are winning. So, like, you want to help your winning lanes, but you can't fight the other jungler. I mean, I guess in this situation, just how it's played out, Inori's not as behind Dardoch as I feel like he should be. And Dardoch's items are a little bit ratchet.
He's going for the dead man's rush, I think, that I've been seeing a couple people do.
Also, I feel like...
The dead man?
I feel like it might be a little early to call it inting. He died one time. I mean, inting is getting like super common now. Everyone's like, anytime you die, intentional feed here. You die.
If you die once, it's inting. That's how you. Any death is an in.
If anyone on my team dies. Like, whoa, Ryu with the package on top. Not here. He's like. This is actually, you talk about, you know, your laners doing so much for you, right? My laners are counter jungling for me. They're killing the enemy solo.
Yeah. Look at this.
They're ganking for me. Now Adrian's ganking for me.
Adrian's like, you know what, dude? I'll
gank. Good gank, dude.
Really well
so
played.
Look at Inori adding that vision on the bottom side for him.
Yeah. Oh, look, he chunked out the enemy support.
All right, I know we're NA junglers here. Let's stay away from the flame, though. Classic NA junglers.
Oh, I mean, we're not from EU. Come on. It's not that bad.
Let's take a look at this, though, because the Varus Corgi, let's return to comp here a little bit for him as well. Kha'Zix really does want to get to that W evolve next. I think this is one of those games where I like W evolve instead of the E, right?
Then you can actually, like, if you evolve E here, you can't participate in the fight. At least with W, you're able to poke and kind of make the situation like you're actually contributing in these standoffs.
Yeah, I honestly love W evolve so much now.
I think it can situationally be very strong. This would be a good situation for it because looking at their comp, what I found Kha'Zix W does is it's kind of like a catch on its own, because if you hit someone isolated, it's an 80% slow, and then that lets your team follow up. Like, if you get slowed by that, you're going to get hit by a Varus Q, you're going to get hit by a Corki R, maybe even Varus ult. So
it's a game where he's behind. He also has poke on his team, so yeah.
I would like to see Inori do that.
Yeah, you have a pseudo poke comp here, Varus, Corki, and Kha'Zix with a decent front line as well.
And Maokai, can't underrate those saplings.
Yep. Got everything, dude. You know, the sustain, they have the healer.
Poke with Nami wave.
They have the main tank, the healer, and the 3 DPS.
We actually saw Adrian do a poke redemption last game, so.
Yeah, that was insane. We also saw
could see that again.
Yeah. Ryu just seems like he's poised to pop off. I don't know.
It looks like Ryu's smurfing. It looks like his main's way higher elo than this or something.
Yeah, it's in Korea.
All right, they actually get vision of Dardark this time around.
Dardark did go for the dead man rush.
Yep.
Do you okay? So, what's the difference between your Righteous Glory and your Dead Man School of Thought? Right? Is it based on how much AD the enemy has, or you just fuck? You just.
All right. So I think the way all NA junglers think is no one in NA really likes Righteous Glory on Olaf. I'm not sure your opinion, but I think that most NA junglers just would rather have stats like defensive stats, because all Righteous Glory really gives you is health and mana, and junglers in NA just want to be like a little bit tankier, and like Ghost and Dead Man's is normally enough to get on somebody by themselves.
I feel like it's just not as efficient as the other options. I don't think it's terrible. I think people do it because it feels good. You know, you have mana, you can just kind of be really liberal with your mana use. But just looking at the stats it gives, it's the same HP or something as Dead Man, almost the same cost, and just no armor, and the move speed's got a pretty substantial cooldown. So I think it's weaker than other options.
Yeah, we did just see one earlier.
He got stunned out of his Valkyrie.
Oh.
And he almost one-shot. He almost one-shot on the back of that.
Oh, wow.
They definitely need to call Varus mid here to help wave clear. Corey should be able to make it back on time. I wonder what his timing on the package is.
He used it when Olaf was at his red,
Should
so
be fairly soon.
yeah, it'll be coming up when we see the gray buff for Olaf's red.
Inori did get his level 11 and went for the W here, so we might see some super sick Kazakh's poke.
I honestly
gameplay.
don't like that that he's building lethality here. I definitely think the cleaver option could potentially be better when you're behind. That's just my general school of thought. Is like I feel like lethality is good when you're snowballing, and then when you're behind, you should be going more like cleaver. They don't have any super tanks, so it's not shredding too much. But I still think that, especially with poke builds, cleaver is pretty strong.
I could see it. I don't hate the lethality though. The reason when I played Kazakhs with this build, you know, going for the W evolve, I feel like he can have pretty heavy mana issues. So getting more value out of the spines you shoot rather than just shooting more might be what he's going for.
Pretty risky jump right there.
That is
Really aggressive play by
all right.
Inori.
Can we revisit the inting? Is this inting now? Yeah, just kidding.
Well, that one right there was definitely
That's borderline.
high risk.
That was kind of an in.
That was a half health, you know, jumping in front of my Maokai thing.
It's a W then. It's like, who's gonna follow up on that?
Come on, man.
And then P1 still takes the tower after that. So just valiant sacrifice.
Yeah.
Gets his team the objective.
That was objective focus.
He's actually Inori's actually played like a beast in all 4 games. So he gets a pass on like one series or all 4 series actually. Like,
I think that the early game might have tilted him a little bit because I can kind of understand from that situation. He was set behind early quite a bit.
He was definitely set behind early. I also think like the pathing just generally favored Olaf because Olaf's a faster clear, so he has to spend less time in the enemy jungle. And Olaf just wins the 1v1s.
Going back to the level 1 really quick.
The scuttle control.
I think that what sort of set the pace of the game is the fact that Olaf was able to freely start in the enemy jungler, and Kazakhs had to start in his own jungle, and then he got pushed out of the enemy jungle before he could get all the camps. So
Dardark's putting in work.
3-2 gets an answer, but he is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh wow.
Jump from Inori, committing with the flash there.
Yep.
I definitely think Ryu looks really easy to play with right now. I'm gonna say that though. Feels like he's doing everything you want out of a mid lane. He's controlling mid. He's getting vision in the enemy jungle. He's solo killing his lane. He's out DPSing. Like he's just popping off.
At what point do you get to the stage of the game where you're just like, okay, so as a jungler, you know, my role now is to just shadow Ryu, right, and just make more space for Ryu to create plays, or just hug onto the plays that Ryu is doing himself.
I feel like you're already at that point. Like you know that Ryu is gonna carry the game, not yourself, if you're in Inori's shoes right now.
Sometimes that's what the jungler's whole role is, right?
Yep.
You just shadow the
that
hardest carry.
That happens more games in competitive than you just completely popping off, from my experience. Or maybe I was just bad or something.
Tell him how it is, superstar Zach.
Yeah, 13.7 KDA. Or
12.7.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not get ridiculous.
Yeah,
keep the facts
13's
straight.
Way too high.
Yeah.
I do like the Edge of Night coming out of Kazakhs, though. I personally think that's just an insane item on Kazakhs.
Yeah, it's really good.
Especially against stuff like Syndra, where if you get hit by that stun, you're gonna die.
Yeah. I also like it too because Kazakhs doesn't have any delay anywhere else in his kit. Like he can instantly react to almost all plays. So it's super easy to channel the Edge of Night, get your thing, get your shield, and then be able to pull the trigger.
Yeah, Edge of Night is a really good item here.
I'm not in love with Dardock's build, though. I don't really see why you would get trackers but not Cinder Hulk.
Yeah, it's a really efficient upgrade. I think it's just like the value of the Dead Man's must be really high to him.
I would even like a Red Smite Sightstone if he values the vision that highly, but each his own.
Well, as of right now, you're going to set up for a Dragon on a team that does have super high poke and has like these small corridors. Let's take a look at how Inori actually leads the charge here. Who are they trying to pick off again? Who did we see down here last? Nobody. They've been had.
I think they ganked the bush. They almost got it.
There's a wave.
Sick.
This is actually pretty scary when you have Baron up, just saying.
Yeah, they have pretty good coverage around it though, I guess.
Yeah, but
oh, there it is.
5-man bot.
You gotta expect they're waiting in one of these brush.
They got his ult off. He's getting one shot.
Wow.
Well, they wasted Syndra ult on him. Okay, at least
That loop-de-loop play they went for bottom.
Yeah, I don't know what that call was. That lost them a lot.
Yeah.
Free mid turret and a pick on their Maokai. And IMT is not even done necessarily. They can keep going.
Oh, yeah, Dardock leading the charge here. Leading the retreat as well.
He actually can't run into Ryu right now. Ryu has enough damage to chunk him if he runs straight into him.
Dardock's all armor too. Corki is 70% magic damage, so before you get Amar, you can't really run into him.
He's got 10 too.
Yeah, it's so much damage.
Oh wait,
man.
he didn't take the portal. He failed the portal.
Oops.
Trolling.
Ryu just super saving this game right now for
Yeah.
Phoenix 1.
Yeah, that's one you just kind of let
Dragon's
slide.
still up too. All right, yeah, let's do
Oh,
some
so
detective
they
work.
were looking for Syndra.
He's a genius. 200 IQ.
Genius. Walks past the turned off ward.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Just
Don't kill-
turning off
don't
wards,
kill-
but
yeah,
not
yeah,
killing
exactly.
them. Because
Yeah.
it can give them a false sense of
Oh,
security.
standing in a brush with a turned off ward feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You just feel so cheeky.
Yeah.
Genius.
You almost want to all chat LOL, you don't know I'm here.
But then they look at my stream and they know I'm
Let that be a lesson to you. For streaming instead of playing in the great North American LCS. All right. Well, they actually are going to have to do something about that problem, right? I mean,
Wow,
even though
Dardock-
they have a lot of strong lanes, the vision is pretty lacking.
Dardock going for the same build as last game, but just even faster. Just Deadman into GA. These are just super efficient items, I suppose, but it's kind of all in because if you lose that GA, you're going to be at a pretty big item deficit. You know, it's not cost effective at all without the active.
Definitely still outpacing Inori, and it looks like Inori's going for a Hex Shrinker now, I assume. I don't think there'd be any other item he builds. So I feel like if you're going the Hex Shrinker build and you're only going one item of lethality, I honestly feel like Cleaver Maw would have been better in this situation.
I would like to see the Cleaver here a lot, especially with Olaf running in. You know, you can WQ auto and get like, what, 3 or 4 Black Cleaver stacks on him.
They definitely saw him walk in that bush. Ooh, ult lasted long
Ooh,
enough.
good flank TP from Maokai. Hopefully he doesn't get one shot this time though. He's taking it.
He's pretty far from his DPS though.
It's hype. I respect taking that portal.
They still had, you know, Flame canceled his as well, so you know that the Immortals bottom laner kept pushing one more wave. He could be walking up right now through Fog of War, but I like this pressure on Baron, right? Trying to make that vision work for you again. Turning off another ward here.
I think he showed too early there.
We did actually see Dardock get into the situation we talked about earlier where against a Pocomp as a Olaf, if you get chunked, you're kind of just...
Now he doesn't have ult for this fight, and that feels so bad.
Olaf doesn't even feel like a champion without ult, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, half HP, no ult. He's going to run in, he's going to get G8'd, and then hopefully his team can kill everyone.
A lot of it's on Ziggs to just output AoE damage in this type of situation.
Do you make the call 100% to turn here, or do you just...
You're in a really bad situation now. You have to just
As
book it.
P1, you don't really want to do Baron in front of the Ziggs like that.
I think you want to recall right now and make it back mid before they take your inhib.
So we talked earlier about, you know, doing Baron and the importance of screening the enemy jungler, basically. If your guy that you want to screen is also the one taking the Baron, you don't have the best of both worlds, because if you're the jungler and you're getting hit by Baron, reduces your damage, plus you have to respect getting killed. Those are the shot calling situations. Did you guys take over shot calling around Barons for your team, or was it still like everyone adding, info?
I know for when I was on TL, I'd say season 4 it was more cooperative, and then when and Cody gets picked off here, pretty good pick because they assumed that everyone recalled. But I know for TL, at least season 5, one of my jobs on the team was just to say what I wanted people to do, finish, turn, who I wanted to zone, all that stuff was like kind of my responsibility.
I would just beg my team to not make them do smite fights. I'd be like, please get the jungler out of here.
So they already know your call ahead of time.
Don't make me smite fight. It's stressful.
Yeah. All right. Well, this time around they have eliminated the Ziggs, so
I'm
it's
not in love
easier.
with P1's tunnel on Banner. Well, I guess here it's pretty good.
So they don't have that AOE from the Ziggs. And that was one
right.
This feels a lot better versus an Olaf because you know he can't steal. Oh my god.
Wow.
That got stole by a Bard Q. But it feels better to rush Baron versus Olaf because he has to literally just ghost and ult and run directly into your team as opposed to like a Lee Sin that can jump the wall or Rek'Sai can jump the wall, etc.
That was actually the 3rd smite this series that Inori has gotten
early.
off by under 100 HP.
And he's Kha'Zix. That Baron is always isolated.
I think that's a little bit minor, but I definitely don't think that this is like Inori's best game. And I think that when that happens, I know to me it felt like, maybe everything would be a little worse. Maybe I messed up an invade or something, but then I would make uncharacteristic mistakes in other parts of my game too on stage.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's kind of happening to him right now where he knows he's not playing. Like Inori's a carry player. He's carried so many games this split so far. When he's not carrying and like he knows that like I'm pretty sure he feels like he's getting out jungled.
Yeah.
It just starts kind of like weighing on you. Like that's not how you don't want to be the dependable one. You want to be the one that's carrying your team.
Exactly. And we're harping on this so much, just nitpicking these mistakes, but it's not even like he's we make the jokes of inting and hard feeding and stuff like that, but it's not even at that level. He's just Dardoch is he's been on a mission. It seems like he has been just always have a very clear priority, and
Dardoch's been playing very well.
Yeah, I just don't know what you can do if you're Dardoch. What do you say when you get backstage? It's like I mean I like won jungle both times and then you guys just got solo killed. He even ganked bottom and then they got solo killed after he ganked bottom.
I like how Phoenix One have kind of delegated their duties, right? Zig has been happy to play this tank, into this matchup. Yeah, he gets blasted in CS again. It's Jace. Of course you're getting blasted in CS. But then he's the Maokai for the team fight. Ryu is absolutely destroying mid lane. So I like how Phoenix One are really playing to those strengths.
Right. I mean, in a matchup like Jace versus a tank, a lot of people will look at it and be like, oh, Flame won this lane so hard. He's up 70 CS and a kill. But honestly, like, Jace is expected to be extremely ahead in CS. He's expected to take the tier 1, but like, Jace has to do more than that.
He's got to take tier 2. He's got
to like really hard carry to make that pick more useful than a tank.
Hey, I won lane. We lost game. What's wrong, team? Must be team's fault, right?
Yeah. No, he has to take more risks. I don't know if they need to play around him more, get him the ward so he feels safe taking the turret, but he needs to get himself in isolated situations versus the Maokai where he is just beating on the turret, and if Maokai walks up to him, chunks him, gets out of turret range, and goes back to it.
To be fair, I feel like you really need multiple points of pressure to make this type of thing work, right? Po Belter and Cody Sun are both doing these super offensive, the Ludens plus pure AP here, and with all this poke, they're not really exerting any pressure anywhere else on the map, as we've seen Ryu over and over just like crushing it. So it does make stuff hard to solo split push.
It's a different mentality that your team has to have. Your team has to be not confrontational, and things like waiting in brushes when you know the enemy is coming is completely unacceptable when your strategy is Jace is going to take over the game and split 1v1. You need to keep them in that isolated situation as long as possible, and instead of what's happening is they're taking these like halfway fights where Maokai can TP in and Jace has to TP in and cancel, and then P1 rushes Baron, so then Jace doesn't feel comfortable splitting.
Now Inori is actually 2 levels up on Dardoch from his 2-level deficit when he was 4 to 6, so in a very comfortable position. Olaf, he's never been really a late game scaling champion.
Yeah, Inori remaining, even though he'd had a couple more little baby mistakes after the Flash and First Blood fiasco, trying to stabilize, like you talked about, Dom. And when you have mistakes on stage, sometimes you can just spiral out of control. But he actually did a decent job of stabilizing.
It makes it so much easier when you have 2 lanes winning. When you have 2 lanes solo killing and taking turret and stuff by itself, it's so easy to just be like, all right, you know what? I messed up.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
can just- I'm
guys,
just gonna-
I'll let you guys carry me now. Go, you know, go ahead. I'll stop giving
It's
kills
like, you
away.
remember last week, though, I popped off against TL. I was like 11 kill Rengar. Don't forget it.
Not Inori's best game, but by no means is he just messing up everything. He's recovered quite nicely. Definitely is his teammates doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but
Yeah.
It's actually funny.
This is valuable, though. Getting carried. I wish my solo queue teammates did this.
Yeah.
If you're feeding, just don't make it 0-6. Make it 0-2, and you're fine.
Make it 3-2. He's not
3-2,
yeah,
exactly.
He's even been able to get counter. But the funniest thing to me is actually I just remembered Ryu was the one who got the last hit on Baron too. So even covering for the early smites.
Yep.
Olaf having to burn his ult there, so I think that someone on IMT really just needs to pull the trigger because, you know, they're behind, but
And honestly, what does that look like for them, right? Is it a perfect Bard ultimate into a Syndra stun that like comes out at the exact time your Bard ultimate times out? How are you really going to get
such
advantage?
a weird position.
Maokai is so beefy on the front line, even though he got absolutely demolished you know, in CS.
I think what you have to do in this situation, you know, if you know Varus doesn't have flash, you just throw your Bard ult at Varus and you just run at him with everything. Like you throw Ziggs ult at him, you have an Olaf run him down, and then you get killed by Rio. So it's a tough situation, but you're not going to win a game by just letting yourself get poked.
You don't pick this comp to be in this position. You're not like, all right, we're going to have Ziggs Bard bot lane, and your job is to get solo killed, be down 30 CS, and lose your turret at 10 minutes. Like, that is not the ideal situation. So if you're picking these types of champions, you need to see different results, or you need to start going to a different style that allows Dardoch and allows Flame to really carry the game. Because here, they're not in a position to actually do anything. And what's going to happen is P1 is just going to keep on pushing in mid. They're going to get complete vision control on the top side jungle, and then they're going to do another Baron. And with that, we're going to see inhibitors going down.
I think that Dardoch's played very well this series. My only thing about this game is his build. I wasn't in love with his build, you know.
Yeah.
I think on Olaf, if you're going to pick the champion, you got to kind of just go like all in on the early game aggression stuff. Like the most common build I see is like cooldown boots into like a red smite Cinder Hulk and just be the strongest guy in the map for the mid game. He didn't really do that, but
yeah, and
he didn't really have pressure from his lane, so it's not like you can put someone on Dardoch.
It's really unfortunate that he has to do that, though. You'd feel that having that much control in the jungle matchup and buying the Tracker's Knife and putting wards down and putting yourself in a position where the enemy jungler like isn't even a factor anymore, that should be enough for your lane to win. Yeah. I mean, I played a lot of solo
We're
queue
a
too.
little bit removed.
I haven't built a Tracker's Knife in like a year and a half. I didn't play it all last year competitive either, so I'm really all about the skirmishers, but
Even on Lee?
oh yeah. I do skirmishers Lee, and I'll just keep trinket wards, and I'll buy pink wards if I have to, and maybe I'll get a side stun.
Okay. Well, Dardoch gets chunked to 20% maybe, and no ultimate.
Then again, my Lee
That's
is
the Olaf life.
That is the Olaf late game. Definitely does feel bad. I mean, he's been on early game champions, and yeah, his early game has looked good. But you know, like you're saying, you have to take into account how are you actually going to win this one.
And another thing you have to consider is the draft should not favor Dardoch. Dardoch's getting a non-priority jungler into what people consider the best first pickable jungler, assuming Rengar is banned.
True. All right, well, from Phoenix One's point of view here from Inori, I mean, the way you end up the game is actually a lot more simple than, you know, last time around for them. They have a very solid team fight. They also have a lot of decent poke, so.
They have a 4-item, level 18 Corki with Baron. Ryu is an absolute monster right now.
Yeah.
Last game, I mean, I'm hesitant to say it. Last game, it looked like a similar situation like this where P1 couldn't really lose, but then like there was that whole fiasco mid where they lost their inhib. I think this one's definitely in P1's, you know, court.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the ways Immortals could like surprise them, and it kind of has to be somebody squishy in like a bad spot where Syndra plus Ziggs plus Jace like stuff all lands at the same time, so you can kill someone without having to commit to it, because you really need the Dardoch ult and the commitment from Olaf to be able to follow up after you have gotten a free
Looks
kill or
like
something.
P1 might end up doing the ultra safe thing, and oh no, they're gonna get.
Yeah, it is ushering up those minions is pretty easy. They don't have to check any brush.
I think that if IMT can somehow instant kill Corki, they can win a fight. That's not easy to do.
Through a maw, like you need Jace to get in there.
I feel like, again, the Bard ultimate into the whole dive combo Has to be it.
I mean, I don't even think Ryu can get hit by a Bard ult. He's just going to Valk it every time.
I don't think Ryu will let himself get initiated on in a normal way. They have to find something creative, whether it's, you know, like Syndra doing something really weird.
Jace TP flank, get in there, buddy.
I don't know. At some point, you just got to go for something.
Yeah. I mean, you can slowly bleed out too. Just lose the game. It seems like that's the strategy they're going for right now.
Yeah.
Super rough. Let's see. There's the Bard ultimate. Yeah,
Got
just
the
walks out of it this time.
Ryu pretty much solo killed that turret, by the way.
Yeah.
With 2 Mountains, he does so much damage here.
Yeah, it's...
Inori got here, moving up the cannon with his Baron buff. At this point, you just circle in and you let the minions, you know, build up on the Nexus turret.
And you've got bot wave pushing, you just go bot, and that's good too.
I would really like to see Immortals go for something. I don't think they should just
Now,
go for the
yeah,
fantasy
but
point
okay,
approach.
so now they don't even have Bard ultimate. Like, you have to land a Cinder Stun through front line onto back line. Oh,
Dark's having to ult out again.
Cody's son just got.
I feel for Dark
right there.
These
are not fun situations to be in as jungler.
I don't know how. I don't know what to even think at this point.
Ryu's really low. If they could get some sort of snipe on Ryu, then there's hope. But
Oh, 3-man bubble.
Ooh! Oh, Inori in.
Oh, he's dead.
Inori down. Well, they got a kill for themselves on the step
Did he
here.
back it? Is he bringing the package right now?
I think he's giving them his big package one last time.
Holy moly. He's going to end it in style.
Oh, they're baiting for him too. Oh, Zig, keep baiting.
Oh, there it
There it
is.
is.
Hey, didn't touch anyone.
So, dude.
Wait, he's getting clapped. Ryu.
Wait!
Dude, I saw this last game.
Holy.
Maybe they
Look,
practiced
they're all
the
laughing
strategy.
too. And Nelly.
What a delivery right there. I guess they do circle here. I mean, you
I
would trade your
respect
GA
that so
to
much.
take him down. Elder Dragon is coming up.
And
Or
3
it's already-
inhibits down.
Yeah, I mean, 3 inhibitors, you can't really take anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Rough.
I respect that
Zig.
play for Ryu, dude. Valkyrie straight up the mid lane, and then or package up the mid lane, Valkyrie back over, and then flash directly into melee range. Of the
That's
Jhin.
why I
That
like
was-
playing Kha'Zix, by the way.
He got melted.
You auto Q and your Thunderlords takes care of a single.
And this is like a
isolated
Kha'Zix that was
person.
pretty behind / even for like the most part of the game, and that's what he's able to do. That's why this champion is so strong right now.
Yeah, one of the most brutal parts about that combo is a lot of time the auto attack that gets like the Thunderlord and his passive off will hit you even if you flash if he starts up animation. So just so much burst.
As
It's a
long
small
as
window.
you're in vision, any auto attack that or melee ability that starts and you don't like break vision, it's gonna complete. All right, easy Elder here then for the finale. Have you been playing decent amount of Kha'Zix, Meteos, or mostly
He's
like
permaban in
yeah.
solo queue, and I'm on my Warwick one-trick phase. So.
yeah.
I've been getting him actually a decent amount. He's my most played on my main
Yeah,
account.
me too.
I pretty much one-tricked him to Challenger. I played Kha'Zix and Hecarim.
I'm one-tricking Warwick on my way down to D2.
Yeah. Nah, I'm doing that too, except I started at D5, so hopefully we don't
I
go
started
too far.
at D1.
But you had high MMR, that's different.
Yeah, it's a bit of decay.
Yeah. People don't take into account how much MMR is valuable in fact.
Yeah, after like the first reset and people with vastly different. Oh, here we go. Set up. Dardak, you got it. I guess he has to go. He's in.
All right, he's out.
All right. Still has his GA, but doesn't have his ultimate. So
That's what Immortals to do something.
I
Man.
feel like these games are a little bit painful for me because I know exactly how it feels to be Immortal. To like, no one on their team wants to be the reason that you like did the terrible initiate and lost the game, but at the same time, you're just kind of getting
it's
choked
over,
out.
right? Yeah, you have to like desperately
Yeah.
play it.
Dardak has 100% kill participation and hasn't died yet. Like,
Yeah.
Did he ever even end up dying last game? I know
Yeah.
until like
He died
30
once.
minutes or something.
Yeah, I mean, Dardak played amazingly in this series. They didn't win, but it's a team game.
Yeah. Well played there.
There it is.
Phoenix won.
better
Clean
jungler
it
wins.
up.
GG.
I would give Dardak the I think Dardak played better overall in
Yeah,
the series. And not to say Inori played terribly or anything, but Dardak kind of like went above and beyond in a bad situation. So props to him, props to P1 for winning as a team.
Dardak looked
Really
like he
good.
was on form for like being one of the top junglers early in Spring Split last season.
Definitely good. I like the showcase too of the early game. We actually had some really interesting early routes and changes. Inori's second invade though without flash. Not only was it risky from him, and even going for that, you're kind of like, ooh, this is kind of questionable. But
there wasn't a really good decision for him. Like the best decision for him there is, all right, I lost like camps and just give him his whole jungle too. That's the best decision, and accepting being a little bit behind. So I don't really know. It's hard to make that decision because there's not like a high profit play. It's like, oh, if I get this Gromp, I'm even. That's what's going through.
That's definitely what he was thinking. He felt behind, you know, because he didn't get the Gromp earlier. So he's saying, oh, okay, I can go for this risky play where if I do snatch away one camp on the second clear, it'll be a huge deal. But obviously, if you get collapsed on and killed, it's not as good as if you get it.
Yeah. And I really like how a lot of the time Dardoch was thinking that one step ahead, and he knows the situation Inori's in. He's like, he definitely wants to, you know, get back to my Gromp, right? So he makes the beeline straight for there. And
that was definitely good predictive jungling by Dardoch. The second he got seen topside, it clicked in his head. Oh, well, my bot side, my Gromp is still up. Immediately runs there and gets a free kill.
Yeah, and those are the plays that we like to see, right? That's like one of the reasons I like jungling so much more than the standard just laning against someone and matchups over and over. Exactly.
Yep. I definitely think at that point, it's really on Pobelter to press that advantage. If you get a free kill gifted to you like that, your mid lane should have pressure from that point on, or at least be able to fight, because they had priority mid laner. They picked Syndra in the first rotation, I'm pretty sure. So in that, I think that at that point, they should definitely be able to at least go even and let Dardoch and open up Dardoch to go into the enemy jungle and take even more advantages.
Like I was saying earlier in that game, there was a point where Olaf was level 6 to Inori's level 4, and the entire bot jungle was up for Inori. Yeah. And Dardoch normally would have just been able to take that entire thing, but he just didn't have the pressure in the lanes. With Pobelter getting a kill, he was still solo killed right afterwards as Syndra. So, you know, not Pobelter's best series. I think he underperformed a bit, and that made it really hard for Dardoch because if you don't have mid pressure, there's only so much you can do as a jungler. You're always at risk of getting collapsed on, so if you run in, you can just die.
Yeah. Definitely on the other side of that, I mean, Ryu just had an amazing series.
Ryu played out of his mind.
That looked scary. I mean, put me in this game, I'm 0-15 mid. Like,
yeah, I
easily.
mean, the Phoenix one, they did such a good job with defensive vision after the Kazakhs invaded and got killed. They were like, okay, we need to step our pink wards. We need to try and, you know, protect for him. Not to mention the solo kills are going to give you a lot of confidence. They're actually prepping an interview with Ryu right now because, surprise, he got player of the game there, I think.
Player of the series. He got it both times.
Yeah.
Deserved a little bit.
Wait, he got player of the game first game too, right? So
I think so. Maybe he collected all of them. They are ready with that interview right now, actually, and it is going to be a Zale with some member of